Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Vault Games. Here we have some pre-modern action for you. Matt on Elves versus Mike with a Dredge at home. This is a precursor to the modern Dredge decks. You can still cobble together a graveyard strategy with the cards available in pre-modern. It is actually surprisingly powerful. We'll see how it stacks up against Elves with their consistent, resilient cards. What a classic opening here. Llanowar Elves and Quirion Ranger. Getting some serious mana on board. Priest of Titania, it looks like, along with a Gaia's Cradle. So going from like 1 mana on turn 1, turn 2, just all the mana. Gaia's Cradle actually powering out a Tangle Wire as well. This is a horrific opening for Mike. This is not what he was planning on when he woke up this morning. Priest of Titania going to generate a ton of mana along with Gaia's Cradle. Quirion Ranger allowing for the untaps now. That means you're going to be able to tap Quirion Ranger, I'm sorry, Priest of Titania twice thanks to Quirion Ranger for just like 5+ mana. Plus the Gaia's Cradle tapping for 1 for each creature you control. This is just all the mana. Unbelievable start. This really is all about Tangle Wire, however. On the other side of the board, Mike has to be tapping down his permanents to Tangle Wire. This is just not going his way. Tangle Wire, on its face, might look somewhat balanced, both players needing to tap the same number of permanents, but that's not at all how the rules end up working. The fading 4 means that your opponent has to tap 4 permanents before you have to tap any. And then the next turn, when you fade down, you'll actually only have 3 counters, meaning you have to tap 3 permanents. And you typically tap Tangle Wire as one of those permanents. So you're basically tapping 2 permanents versus your opponent's 4. And that'll buy 2 or 3 or 4 turns, depending on how this plays out, which could easily be enough. I mean, it looks like Matt's moving to make a lethal blow right now with Tribal Force Mage. And yeah, flipping that up for just 2 mana. All the elves getting +2/+2 and trample till end of turn for the 1-hit KO to finish out what was a really lopsided game. Tangle Wire was brutally unfair, as it often is. I actually played that in my first standard deck that I ever built back with Glowstone Overseer. Good times, trying to mimic Masticore. Its ability to pay 2 to kill smaller creatures. Actually have some of the original art from that deck, including the Flowstone Overseer himself by Andrew Goldhawk. Awesome piece. Underground River. Gold Border. Love to see it. Premodern, one of the only places where you can play Gold Border cards. It does mean that we can't run this through the Wizards Event Reporter or Event Link. Any of that is not allowed when you're using the Gold Border card. So we do use Challenge, mostly a video game tournament website for running tournaments. Little inconvenient, but we'll be July 8th here, running another pre-modern event in store. Oh no, did he just hit 2 Survival of the Fittest with the Cabal Therapy? Is that what we just witnessed? Direct hit. You sunk my battleship. That is a huge blow. Got like a Naturalize and a Tangle Wire in hand. This is not how you look to curve out with elves at all. Provocan Horror. That card will become a problem later on. Ability to ping. Another Cabal Therapy. It's the Naturalize. Not looking good for Matt here. Got a Squee in hand. He's got the red. He can actually cast Squee. Not generally what you want to be doing, but all right, he gets a Tangle Wire down. That's going to buy some time, but I don't even know if you want to be doing that here. I don't know if you would have played that here. Tough to say. I mean, it's type of card that kind of want to have a good board presence and then jam it and close the door before your opponent recovers from the tempo loss. It is slowing Mike down. I mean, he's not doing anything explosive, losing 3 of his mana sources here. Continuing to chip in. I mean, he's half dead. We're in Ranger is going to allow for a face down card. Probably the Tribal Force Mage. Could be a Birchlore Ranger if he runs it in his list. Engineered Plague. Going to go ahead and return the Quirion Ranger. So Plague, I mean, probably just going to name elves. Are we checking? Probably checking the creature types on Wirewood Symbiote. I think it's just an insect. Oh, he's checking on Tribal Force Mage. There we go. Guy's Cradle was so good last game. Wirewood Symbiote saving the Quirion Ranger. Oh, and he's got the Naturalize. Brutal. So the way was cleared with previous discard. However, he draws another Naturalize and takes out that Engineered Plague. That's rough. Quirion Ranger just comes right back down. Now, he wasn't in amazing shape anyways, facing down 3 damage with his engine not really coming online for him yet. And a breakthrough did not follow what killed the Tribal Force Mage. Graveyard slightly off camera. Lots of options. Black. Do that, however, so breakthrough. Fill in the graveyard. Ashen Ghoul. I've actually played a list of Dredge similar to this way back before any of the modern tools with Zombie Infestation and Ashen Ghoul and all that. Fun stuff. Nether Shadows, Icarids. And a Priest of Titania. Still representing near lethal damage. It's a couple of turns. I'm kind of spinning the wheels right now. Got to get something on board. Zombie Infestation can certainly help with that. Oh, and a Dystopia. Cumulative upkeep, paying 1 life. Not at its best right now. We'll be able to mop up some of these green permanents in all likelihood. Oh my goodness. The 3rd Naturalize? That's got to leave a psychological mark when you strip one of the most important cards in your opponent's deck out of their hand, leaving them with none, and then they top deck 2 more copies to absolutely claw their way back into the game. Yeah, this Dystopia is just picking up. It will have to go away eventually. There's the Krovakan Horror. Down to 5. Kind of stabilize here. May do it. One of these green creatures is going to go away. 4 mana. 5 totally hellbent. Just 4 life left. And facing down a couple of 1/1s with a 2/2 blocker. Staying home. This zombie going to stick around. Another horror. So it's a recursion here in between Squee and the Krovakan Horror. Oh, and Masticore. Oh, so that Squee is actually much better off in the graveyard here. Masticore just an absolute disaster on this board. And remind you just how good he was back in the day. I think this card's looking like it's going to single-handedly take over this game. A little help from Squee, let's be fair. Being able to come back and discard to him every turn, indispensable. Right now, once he untaps, he's going to have the 2 mana to regenerate. Provocan Horror. Ends again. What a back and forth game this has been. Sending. Flinging. Recursion on this 4 mana at a time. Quite a bit. So shooting down Ashen Ghoul. Tense dance here. Power level of Masticore. It's unbelievable. Has to block every one of these attacks as he's at only 4 life. Masticore cannot ping players, but he can just dominate the board, killing anything that's put in front of him. Another 2/2, that's not going to be enough. Matt's able to just tap out, kill the horror one last time, and cross the finish line thanks to one of the most broken finishers of that era, still going strong in Premodern. Thank you for watching. For more magic from ELD's Time Vault games, be sure to subscribe and check out more videos just for you over here.